that joins in when they can, but
oh, perfect. So this is a Big Hairy Dog webinar, and it is about promotions, Retail Pro promotions, and we have a nice little agenda that I've got like tucked away right here. But I thought rather than diving right into the agenda, I thought we should take a look at what promotions is, and by example, and then back up and look at how you set things up, right? So what I have here is a screen when you see that one item has already been rung up, and it is in fact 50% off right here. And up here you see that right here we have a promo that I've created that says everything in a specific department will be 50% off. You follow? So now we're going to go ahead and add an item. I think if I just drop down one number, if I go down to like that, it'd be the same department. And so you see that little promotions thing popped up and evaluated that and did the discount for me.
Nice.
Because it was in the correct department, which I don't have on the screen, oddly enough, making it rather awkward. But yeah, I think you get the idea, right? So that's essentially what promotions does. Now there's a whole bunch of different kinds of promotions, and we'll be taking a look at those to make sure that they make sense to us and all. But that being said, let's back up and look at our little agenda here. Promotions for both version 8 and version 9, promotions comes with Retail Pro. It's already installed, it's embedded, but it's not installed completely and it's not turned on. So what I mean by that is that there are plugins. Plugin is a third-party program. Usually this was originally written by, I think, a third party, but Retail Pro bought it and they actually opened it up and rewrote it. So it's pretty much native Retail Pro now. It's no longer, whoa, that was kind of weird. Let's go back to that. Wrong one, sorry. So let's go take a look at what that means. Now, so Craig, what version are you? Are you version 8 or version 9?
We're on 9.
Oh, good, excellent. So Erica's on 8, you're on 9. That's perfect. So we can kind of look at both situations here and do a little cross comparing here, maybe. But both of them basically act the same way. So if we're looking at version 9 on this side here, you see there's an RPro Prom folder right here. And in version 8, we have the same thing, an RPro Prom folder. And inside both these folders are going to be the respective plugin files. So in version 8, it's a BPL, and there's a couple of picture files, BMPs. So we would copy all of these here. We would have to put them into the plugins folder. We'd actually literally have to paste them into this plugins folder. Then when we launch Retail Pro, it would load that plugin. So you can't copy them in and then just assume they're going to start working. In version 8, excuse me, in version 9, it would be the DLL and the MNF file here. The database ones and the INI files all stayed there, but the DLL, the dynamic linked library, and the manifest file, both those would get copied and placed into the plugins folder. And of course, if I paste them in here, it's going to ask me to overwrite them because obviously we just saw it work in the background. So clearly they're already in there, right? So first step with the plugins folder is to take the contents of the RPro Prom folder in the case of V8 and or the two files in V9 in the RPro Prom, the DLL and the MNF, and copy those into the plugins folder. If you don't do that, then you're never going to make it work.
Copy, not move, just copy it.
Yeah, copy. You want to keep a backup because you may decide at some point you want to stop doing it. Well, the easiest way to turn off the promotions is just delete the BPL or the DLL and the MNF files, respectively. I mean, if you want to turn it off, delete the plugin file, and when they reload RPro, it won't be there.
Interesting. Okay.
So the plugin folder is, again, a place where you can have a third-party developer write an application. If they're a partner of Retail Pro and they don't know how to hook into Retail Pro, then it loads Retail Pro, then it looks in the plugins folder and loads any other plugins that have been added on. So this is essentially what's going on. Retail Pro has written their own little plugin at this point. And all right, so then let's go back and let's get rid of this, and let's get this, and nope, swing and a miss. We're looking for this here. All right, perfect. So let's sort of back up now and take a look at. There's the two different modules side by side. I guess we should probably try and do the same way here, right? So V9 is on the right, V8 is on the left, so we can kind of see how they compare to each other. They are not exactly the same. So the one on top there is V8, the one on the bottom is V9. They both have some similar modules, but they're not exactly the same. In V8, we've got this customer discounts, and we'll go through these, I guess, in a little more depth, but they both have this customer pricing or customer discounts, whatever you want to call it. It basically amounts to a custom list of items that have custom pricing, and if anything is not on that price list and gets rung up for the customer, then it defaults to regular retail. So if you had an agreement with a company up the street and you sold whatever, boots, and that company gets a discount, all their employees get a discount on boots, you can make a custom price list on those boots, assign it to those people in the customer database, and then they would get discounts on boots, but not on other things, if you see what I mean. But then you see they start to change at this point, and they both share the quantity discount. They both share the BOGO, but this one has a gift with purchase, which doesn't really come into play down here, I don't think. You think you can do it, but it's a little bit different. This has this coupon thing, whereas in Retail Pro 9, all these things can optionally have a coupon code. You can just give it a coupon code right there to activate that particular feature. So there's a couple of subtle differences in the way that they're sort of put together, shall we say. And both of them seem to operate the same way in that they don't have a form view. They only have a list view. When you go in, you have to add them all in here. A little weird, kind of moving around the screens. All right, so I guess we'll just buzz through some of these, unless you guys have a preference for our order, or is there certain promotions you guys would do more often?
No, ours vary.
We use,
Fair enough. All right.
We use the customer pricing. We use what's on version 9 there?
Right.
Quantity discount. We put a lot of ours right in quantity discount. Even if it's a quantity of 1, if we have a discount, we still put it in the quantity discount from 1 to $9.99.
Really? Why? Any particular reason you like that one better?
Well, we don't have a ton of promos, and we started out with the first ones we put in were if you buy 3 or more, or if you buy 6 or more, you get a discount.
Yeah.
And then we got some that were just this item we want to sell this item at 25% off, just to sell them all out. And I knew how to do it, so I put it in the quantity discount, and I made the quantity from 1 to $9.99.
Gotcha. See, so to here, I've got one in a promo that just says take half off.
Okay.
Anything that's in
the promo.
No, it just says if it's in a certain department or if it meets certain filter criteria, you can filter it to the item. You can filter it to whatever you want. So
all right.
It would seem more logical to do it under there, but I totally see where you're coming from. It works under quantity. I mean, what the heck? You can do any quantity you want, right?
Right.
It automatically,
That's what
it's an app that you install, and it automatically puts the percentage on.
Yeah, that's what I knew, so it worked.
Right. So yeah, that totally does work. If I never thought about it, but that's
20% off.
It's nice to see different points of view too on how this thing works. So you already use the customer pricing one, right? You already have gone in and set up a price list, and you've given it a name, and then you have to attach that to the customer name. And in version 9, you have to determine what field that is.
Yeah. And our partner set that. I'm not sure if I remember where. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I don't remember which field we set that to.
Well, right here, it's defaulting to info 1 or 2. So it's probably info 1 if you didn't change it. So you'd have to, in my case, you'd have to go to info 1 and write VIP, which is the name of my list.
Yep.
To attach
info
it.
Info 1 is what we used. Yep.
Right. Whereas in V8, there's a customer promotions field. You would have to add it to the screen in V8. So there's a field devoted to that function. But
okay, I'm back at the R Pro Prom, and there's only 3. There's only 3 items in that.
Correct.
And
so you're on version 8.
Right, and it says CC discounts and customer type, and then a BPL
right, but no,
file.
Wait a second. You got a BPL and you got 2 BPM.
Yes.
Right. The BPL is the plugin file. That's the program file. The BPMs are just bitmaps. They're just pictures of buttons.
Okay, so the BPL is the one I have to copy and put into.
Well, you copy all 3 of them in there, so that the buttons have contents when they render a button. You need to copy all 3 in there. But if you wanted to disable it, you wouldn't need to remove the BPMs. You just remove the BPL, and then that kills it right there.
You just put it into the plugin folders itself.
Correct. And then, of course, if you wanted to actually use it at some point, you'd have to restart Retail Pro, because if Retail Pro was already open and you copied them in there, then you've already loaded Retail Pro, and it won't reload a plugin until you relaunch.
And how does it work with the loyalty that's already in there as well, the plugin?
Well, we hope it works well with that.
Okay.
Most of the time, plugins do not affect each other. However, I have seen them affect each other. So there is the potential of a fallout there between the two, and it might not be good. One may negate another. I've absolutely seen that, and I would strongly recommend, I think Craig would agree, test anything you do in the plugins folder. Test it thoroughly before you roll it out to point of sale.
Yeah.
That's been my biggest problem is to get the filtering and get the promotion set up correctly. I mean, once you get it set up, they rock. It's such a great tool, but you really do got to nail it. You got to nail the promotion perfect, and that requires a little bit of testing.
Well, I guess the reason I'm asking is because how would it affect the loyalty program, and B, the gift card program?
Again, there's no way to know that without testing it. My guess is it's about a 95% chance that there'll be no effect at all.
Okay.
I mean, it's a very, very slim chance that either one of those BPLs will have any effect on the other one.
Got you.
But that being said, I just dropped a plug-in in myself about a month ago, and unfortunately, I had about 5 or 6 different plugins all installed simultaneously, and the last one I dropped in did not work. And then I went in and ripped everything out and put it in fresh, and it worked like a champ. So one of those was creating a conflict there. Now, I do testing here, so the odds of an end user having 6 plugins installed simultaneously is pretty low.
Okay.
So the odds are with you that everything is going to work and that they're going to work perfectly. That being said, always test this stuff before you roll it out.
Okay.
So anyway, so we were back on the customer discounts, and customer discounts is what it's called in V9, and that's a price list. You could add, you could add something for the filter here, and I think you can add global. So you can give it a name, discount, first use, promo class, right? So promo class is customer promo classes. This is where you tell it one. I guess a V8 one really is kind of globally like a discount percent or first use percent. It's been a while since I've set up V8 promo pricing. So this one's not so much a list, whereas in V9 it is straight up a list. You can actually go in and specify which items and what the price will be, and then you attach the mark to the customer, and that creates the price list.
If it's possible, if it's possible to add. Now we only have one list of items to put on a discount. But is it possible to? I mean, it's possible to have more than one list of items.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Is it possible to set two different lists up to the same customer?
No, because you only have one. I mean, you could try writing it. You could try writing in both. I mean, I don't know how it filters. So if you had VIP and you had I don't know, holiday or something, and you wanted to give them both to someone, could you write VIP and then put a space in there and put holiday? I have no idea.
Yeah.
That's never been tried to my knowledge. It might work. It might. The result would either be to work, or the first one would work and the second one wouldn't, or neither one would work because the field wouldn't match either one completely.
Right. I could combine any number of products in the one list.
Well, yeah, you could always do that. You could have one list and another list. You could have a third list that it would encompass both lists. Yes.
True. Yeah.
So we would win in the end. It'd just be a little more work.
Mm-hmm. Is there a way to copy the list? If I were to do that, say I create a list and then I create another list of different products, and then, like you said, make a list that includes both products.
I don't know of any way to copy a list.
Copy one list, or I did see somewhere you could import a file. That might have been in pricing. Under pricing, I think there's a place to do a file, or under quantity discount.
Yeah, it might be under quantity discount. Yeah, so view associated list, select add selected item. Yeah, I don't see any place to input that here. But that may be under the that may be under the quantity discount one. I don't.
So you can filter out like a specific vendor or a specific product line or whatever all the descriptions are. You can filter out, like if I wanted to run one entire vendor and only a certain product line that vendor carries, I can sub that out. If I wanted to do all one type of hair color only for that vendor, just the hair color, and nothing else the vendor carries, I can do that.
Right now, you're talking about like a discount on an item?
On items.
Okay, so let me just back up on here. So, both of these can do discounting on items. In version 8, though, let's see here. Can we do a discount on an item? We can certainly do it with a coupon. I think that's going to be the only way to do it, though. Now, would this discount be automatic?
Yes.
And so, like for a period of time,
would I be able to set it up under a promo for, one specific product?
Well, I'm gonna try Craig's suggestion here, and so.
Yeah, add the DCF.
Vendor. So it's a vendor, or it's a group of items?
It's both. We carry over 30,000 products.
Right, but is this like a particular line of products, or is it an entire vendor? How are we grabbing these?
Well, it's not, the products sometimes cross over on vendors, so it would have to drill down from vendor to product to
Right.
the type of product type.
So, see, I can go in and say it's just these items, right? I could just go grab whatever. I could do a filtered view, and I could select that vendor, and I could show those items, and I could then grab the items that I want this to qualify for. If you see where I'm going.
Right. So I would have to pull the vendor first, and then separate it by DCS.
So I'm just going to give this a name, and I don't even know what these are priced at. Stores, let's just select all. Required quantity in this case I'm going to say is 1. And I'm not sure if it matters. Start today and whenever.
What's the price point? It has to be so much spent.
Oh, God. I think that's the price point that you want to have them be discounted at. And these could be different. The ones you're talking about.
Oh, okay.
So we have to play around with this and see if we can make it do what you want it to do. I mean, it might work. It might be that you have to set up, if you had 3 different price points, you might have to set up 3 different ones in here. So what Craig suggested is just kind of smart. I never thought about it. He said using the quantity discount, just make the quantity be 1, and then they'll get whatever you want to give them. You know what I mean? Because you're always going to buy 1 or more. And then you could specify what you want to sell them for, and then this thing would automatically discount them when they're rung up until that expiration date on your promotion. Obviously, once it expires, it'll stop. And in V8, I have to say that this promo thing that they've got in V9 is probably the most flexible of the modules, and they really did need it in V8, and they did not put it in there. So you can do a coupon, you can do a discount, but that's global. You can do buy one get one, and you can do a gift with purchase. But it looks like quantity discounting is the only way you can make it discount. But then you're talking about maybe possibly if you have some at $5.99 and some at $7.99, you'd have to do 2 of these things, one for each respective set of items at whatever price point.
Okay. Right now we're just doing it manually.
Still would be better.
Manually, yeah.
Well, no, you think manually is better, or you think automatic's better?
Manually with the amount of, we have about 35,000 items. So.
Takes a while
how big the promotion is.
Takes a while to learn the tool now. I'm in version 9. It takes a little bit to learn it, to figure out what it's asking for. But man, once you figure it out, and it takes a while to set up, but then it's set and forget.
Agree. The benefit is there, but you have to do your homework up front, and you have to get it set up correctly, because when you don't, you inevitably you discount items you did not intend to, and or you don't discount the ones you did intend to. So you really just have to test it. You have to test when you set one of these up. You have to go in and test it and really make sure it's going to work the way you want it to work.
Okay. Yeah, because right now we're having a problem when we do a discount on each transaction, it'll take a discount off of every single line item. So if we put in a 20% discount, unless we go into the actual item, it takes 20% off of everything.
Right. So you might be doing that discount wrong. You're using the global discount field at the bottom of the transaction. There's an item level discount.
Yeah.
You can press F5. If you don't have the field on your screen, you can press F5 on any item on any receipt, and it'll open a little edit window up that'll have a discount field. Okay. So a side note there. F5 is an edit function.
It does something automatically too. It's not just the line or the product itself, but it also discounts. God, what was it? I can't remember. It was something that we didn't want it to discount, and it did. Oh, our services. So we'd go in and discount our services as well, not just the product.
Yeah, it sounds like you're. So it sounds like you would benefit from the tool, because the tool would let you specify which ones are getting discounted in, and it would be at the line level. Now, I have to say, the short answer, the quick answer to your problem there is that you need to discount per item instead of discounting for the whole transaction, right?
Right.
I mean, that's without setting up anything, just going into the cashiers and saying, when you ring an item up, discount it if it's appropriate, and don't discount it if it's not. I don't have a license on here. I could go get one, but no point.
Maybe the filter view that I saw there in version 8, that you could filter down to what items you wanted to put on sale, and then select those items.
Yeah, we could go try that in a second, but I want to make sure that I'm totally for promotions. I think that's a great tool, and I think it's way underutilized. But anytime you're ringing up an item, you can just press F5 and go in here and say 20% discount, right, or whatever you want to do on it. I could actually type in here.
Because I would want to do it under, like, if we have wigs, it doesn't matter what vendor brings in the wigs. I'd want like 20% off on all wigs. So I would like to go by that actual DCS code.
Right. So that would be better. So for right now, what you're doing it down here, this is not a good plan. To do it down here and to take 20% down here is going to apply to everything. That's going to be services and products. Whereas if you do it up here at this level here, then it's going to be just. I don't know why it's not letting me take a discount on this item. There may be a restriction turned on that I'm not aware of. I haven't played in here in a while. But if you're able to take discounts now, I would say discount it at the discount percent field on the item, or set up promotions, right? Set up promotions and have promotions do it for you.
Got it. Perfect.
One or the other though. But don't use that bottom one. That bottom one's going to continue to get you in trouble.
On all of it, yeah. I wish I could remember what field it was. I don't know if it was our loyalty. It was something else.
Well, it could be the loyalty. There's a loyalties, or in version 8, they're all plugins. Even the developer's version is a plugin, and a lot of the plugins use a global discount because it takes the tax off too.
Yes.
That depends on the state you're in and whether the state considers that taxable or not. And sometimes you have to take it off a different way and let the tax fall through. But a lot of people like to redeem their loyalty points as a discount, thus reducing the taxable liability as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I agree though with Craig there in version 9. When you get into setting these up, you have to give it a name and a priority and store the subsidiary. But
we're supposed to.
The hard thing is absolutely the filter and setting up the filter correctly. I just did a simple filter here. If I was going to do more than one department, though, Craig, have you found that you can use wildcards, or is it pretty much only
We haven't tried. We don't use DCS codes very much because of the nature of our business. We've put in the either the UPC or the ALU.
Well, what I found is if I was going to do shirts and if I was doing shirts and/or pants here, men's apparel pants, men's apparel shirts, I would put it in like that. I would say this department or this department or this department or this department. Right. And I would do the same thing with ALU. I would say this ALU or this ALU or this ALU.
Right.
I don't use any wild cards.
Yeah, I haven't tried that at all. And you don't need to put or for that first item?
No. That starts the phrase off. But no, you have to check the or off on the subsequent entries.
On the subsequent, yep.
Yeah, you have to say it's an or situation. You can make an and, but ands are really restrictive. Not gonna suggest that. I haven't ever been able to use that one. I can't think of a reason to use it. First off, I guess, but
yeah, I guess.
But
if you had a manufacturer, if you had a manufacturer code in one of your auxiliary fields or something, you could restrict it to a single manufacturer or something.
Sure. Oh yeah. Well, yeah. You can add, whatever fields you want to add, right? So
Yep.
you could do this on. I guess you can't do it on manufacturer. You don't have vendor code in here.
No, you have to. Yeah.
That made it difficult.
Yes, that would be awkward and silly. And I don't know. Do you have that over in V8? I'm kind of curious if you're setting this up. No, you really don't have it. You'd have to then go to global and filter for the items and mark the items from that vendor. Well, but you see, I think you can do a select all. So you could do a filtered view and then, add the vendor code field here, right? Filter for your given vendor. And then once you had a filtered view up, then the select all would highlight, and you could just say select all at once.
Yeah,
So
I see that down that filter view. I could throw in further and further and further. That's perfect.
yeah, so probably could do that over here. With V8, you'd probably have to get more tricky than that. With V9, you'd have to be more tricky than that. With V9, you could do some manipulation of the data in the back end. You could make the vendor code right over to like description 4, and you could then you'd have to know how to do SQL update statements in the technician's toolkit. But then you could use description 4 for your filter. If you didn't have, if you weren't using description 4 for anything else, that would be an easy workaround.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah. We have our vendor code actually in our ALU or in our item number, so that makes it easy.
That does make it easy. Yeah. So you've got a combo, like a sequential number and a vendor code or something in there.
Right.
Nice. Well then, yeah, you could just use the ALU then. You don't have to worry about that.
All right.
All right. So let me see. Am I covering all the points I'm supposed to be covering? Right. So yes, in V9 you have to turn it on. That is in preferences. And I haven't pointed that out, but I will. V8 does not. V8, once you load it, it's on. V9, you have to actually enable it. So, and then there are a series of preferences in both these that may be relevant. And I'm wondering if this V8 one is updated as it should be. It was pretty simple. Yes, manual discount. Now, both cases, I should mention the manual discounting thing there. In both cases, this thing overrides manual discounts unless in the middle of a transaction, you click the manual button and turn it off for that transaction.
Wow.
So if you wanted to manual discount something and you click the manual discount button, which will be, there'll be a manual discount button inserted in the sidebar menu once you turn this thing on. Now, once you click the manual button on that transaction, then promotions is off. Then you can't turn it back on until the next transaction. And Craig, I'm guessing that's what you found too, right?
Yeah.
So they added a lot more preferences into V9, and for V9 there are like this one here had to be added because of the discount calculation. If you already have a predefined discount, you don't want to take the new discount off the original price because it may actually raise the price. You'd have to take it off the existing price if you follow what's going on there. I mean, if you have some kind of off-price scenario where you have compare at prices built into the system and it comes up 20% off and you say, hey, an additional 10%, but if you take 10% off the original price, you're actually raising the price from 20% off to 10% off. So there's little nuances like that. The top stuff here is mostly just if you want to restrict the item or where you're going to write data. In V9, depending on your hardware, it can slow the system down. Are you guys doing it real time, Craig? Are you having them take it off, or you have?
Yeah, a question for you. Every time we scan an item, that little pop-up comes up and says looking for promos. But it does. I would like to see the system speed up a little bit. So we were considering changing
right,
that.
Performing automatic processing and the tender button is selected, right?
Right.
So if you check these two off, then you go beep, 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 and then you click tender, it applies them all at once.
Right. Now,
So
we don't have, on our receipt screen, we don't have a separate tender button to take us to a tender screen. We have the tender box right on our main screen.
You have an all-in-one design, right? If I was
Right.
to widen this out, I could certainly design this little screen into this screen here, no problem.
Right. That's kind of
but
what we
you
did.
could add the tender button easy enough, to the screen. You just basically go back and interface Page Designer, add a button, and then go to the keys basically and find the tender button.
We did that, and because the tender's already on that screen, that button didn't do anything.
Well, but it would if you took advantage of this configuration back. Whoa, that was weird. Back here, if you said apply promotions, perform when tender button is pressed, then you would give that button functionality.
Okay, so maybe
you could even rename it too. You could say like here, if I did this top one, so you add an active text link, I could call this apply promos or whatever, right? And I could say the action here that I want to have performed is I want you to click the tender button.
Okay.
That would create a little box here, which then I could go and hack around. Like I could say I want this to be whatever, yellow, and I want the font to be bold and 24 pitch, Arial, and let's go with blue. What the heck, right? Boom. So then I got a button that clicks tender, but that says apply promos.
Right. All right.
So that it would be
back in the preferences. Back in the preferences for the promo. Do we also have to check disable automatic promotion calculations?
Yeah. You'd have to disable that at scan time, and then you'd have to apply promotions, manual processing, perform automatic promotions when the tender button is just clicked.
Okay.
And it probably wouldn't be a bad idea to warn when promotions are not applied.
Right.
I mean, I don't see that having a safety net's a bad thing.
Yeah. We'll try that.
I mean, it's a tough trade-off though, because everybody likes the real-time gratification of seeing the discount happen.
Right.
So.
But does it, if it's set to automatic for every scan, does it check every item every time you scan something?
Yep.
It seems to get slower and slower the larger the invoice. If we do 75, 85 items, it gets slower and slower as far as scanning and
right. So let's say you're doing a buy one get one half off, and you're ringing up a really expensive item. So let's say this one's $100, and it's in the same department as this one here that's only $20, and so we're giving you half off the lesser of the two. So this one gets discounted at $10, right? But then you ring in another item that's in the same department that happens to be $50, right? So this one gets back to 20, right? And this one goes to 50 off. So this one goes to 25, right?
Okay.
And then you ring up an item that's $80. So then this one here becomes the one that's getting discounted. This one here goes back to 50. And this one here goes back to 10. Because this one here is now coupled with that one, and this one here is coupled with that one there, right?
Right. Yeah, so that makes sense. That's why it gets slower on larger and larger invoices.
Right, but you could just flip those switches and say, look, and the customer is going to freak out if you have a shopper display or a line display. They're going to not see the discounts happening the way they'd like to see them happening.
So,
And
so
then
you click that button, and you could
then show
click
them the whole
that
thing.
manual button in the middle of a receipt. Look at them. Yep, see they're all working, and then continue on, and then click it again at the end.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay, we'll have to try that route.
Yeah, as long as your customers are okay with it, as long as the people, everybody's
Yeah.
getting it, you know what I mean? That's the critical piece is just keeping everybody happy. And speed is a huge one. If it's slowing down more and more and it's becoming difficult to process and you got a line of customer, then that's not making people happy.
All right. Yeah. Now,
All right,
in Retail Pro, there's also an apply tender button. Would that do the same thing, or should we create a tender button like you just showed me? There's actually a button for apply promos.
Oh, right. If you have that, that may be tied to a different program. I would say go test that, but be careful because out here in inventory, there's another feature called promo pricing.
Right.
And it may be tied to this feature here that has to do with discount schedules. And there is another aspect of that particular one that is here in system preferences under discounting. So here you can let's turn this off here. You can automate those promotions so that manual apply promos, I think, is to replace this here. I think it pertains to that built-in promotions module, not the RPro promotions module.
Right. So that the automate promotions that you're pointing at there is probably not the promo tool.
That's not the promo tool. That's the promo feature I just showed you in inventory. Correct.
Right. Okay.
So, so I don't think that manual promotions button applies to the promo tool either. But
Right.
you could play with it. But again, it's not that hard to make a button that with your all-in-one screen. The tender button really doesn't have any use for you except to apply the promotions. So you could rename it and make a button that says apply promotions, and they can click it and it would apply promotions because you'd be clicking tender.
Yeah. All right.
So.
Good.
All right, so then real quick, make sure we understand things. One of the big features of that quantity tool, I don't know if you know this or not, but both the quantity tools, if you use that promotions feature that I just looked at in inventory, you could use that to do a quantity discount. You could say when you get to for instance, when you get to quantity 3, that the unit price becomes $3.33. So then what you have is 3 for $9.99, right? In the promotions tool, you could actually have 3 for $10, and they would understand to go $3.33, $3.33, $3.34. So in the promotions tool, you put the end price in that internal tool, you put the unit price in, and that's an important distinction for that quantity pricing scenario. Now you're in version 9, right?
Yeah.
Nice. So I think this must be what you're must be what you were talking about as far as importing earlier.
I saw on the quantity discount, if you go into to create one or insert a line, I guess, then on the little ellipsis there to select what you want.
Like includes?
There. Okay, so add one of them, doesn't matter what. There it says file.
Or file, right? Yeah.
There's a way to import a file and what it should look like.
Yeah, so you have to go look at the documentation to find out what the file format would be. I'm sure there's
an Excel file of some sort, but
well, it's probably ASCII Common Delimited, probably just CSV. That's pretty normal. But that is handy. That is handy because any list anywhere in Retail Pro. So if I was in Retail Pro 8 or 9, it really wouldn't matter, and I went to inventory, and I did a filtered view of something, let's just say, yeah, all right, that'll work. I'll just copy that there and put that in here. So anytime on V8 or V9, you can, in V8 you have to go like this, and then you say select columns. In V9 you just say select all, and then both of them you'd say export, and you could export something right out to Excel.
Yeah.
So once it's in Excel, then you could save this. You could edit it to whatever columns you needed. And you could say save as. I would bet you money that they wanted in comma separated values CSV.
Yep.
So that would be easy to do a filtered view though, and get a group of items that you felt that you were looking for, and then
Right.
just export them out, and then create an import file from that.
All right.
That would be easy on both sides, shall we say. And that works everywhere. Like I said, in V8, it's just a little bit different in V8. Merchandise inventory. So in here, like I said, you highlight a group of cells, whatever you wanted, and you right click and you see select columns, and it goes up to top to bottom and does the same thing then. But there is no select all. If you want to select all, you just literally just scroll across the screen and select all, and then you're selecting all, right? And I'm guessing Erica's muted herself. I can see that she's muted right now, so she's probably juggling 2 or 3 things at once. She's still with us though, so
yeah.
She's still out there. Minimize this, get this out of here. I just want to make sure I've covered these things well enough, you know what I mean, as far as setting them up and things like that. And I agree with you, the promotions 9 version, since we're mostly on 9 at the moment, you know, you have to give it a name, you have to give it a priority, because what if you have a conflict between more than one of these? You have to pick your subsidiary. I only have one subsidiary. Nice. It's really angry about that whole thing. Select all the stores here, and then includes. And the includes has to have something here that makes sense, right? Whether it be DCS, ALU, whatever. It has to have something that makes sense in your data. So I'm going to say men's, APP, pants. That's what I already got one set up for, fine. And then you could continue by adding more, and then you've got to go test this. Whatever combination thereof you make, you have to test it. Now, with V9, it's this kind of includes and then applies to. So, you know, you can do, these would be the same for the one I've done. You would set them up exactly the same. But you could have, you know, when they buy these things here, they get discounts on those things, right?
All right. I'm trying to think how you would use them if they would be different, but.
Yeah, you know, it might be that if you buy, you know, I don't know, if you buy a jogging suit, pants and tops, you get a free beanie that's half off, or I don't know.
All right.
I mean, you could find applications for it. You know, it would have to be in line with the culture and the promotion on whatever you're doing and however you're advertising it. But this has bitten me in the butt multiple times. If you're not careful in that absolutely will hurt you. You know, from and to quantity. So discount type, pretty much straightforward. I wish that you could go form view on this. I wish there was a form view function.
Yeah,
here.
or if you could make the screen bigger so you could have all of those columns showing at the same time.
Well, if you got a big enough screen, you know, you can. But still, you know, you still end up doing this here, right? You still end up like moving things over that you don't need anymore to then get access to the other fields. You know, discount amount, you know, 20.
I don't think it keeps those settings when you go out and come back in either.
Really? No, I should absolutely.
Yeah.
No, I should absolutely keep the settings. You got to save it. But yeah, it should absolutely. And then scheduling, of course, if you want to schedule it to come on and off, I'm going to cancel that. I really don't need to schedule it. And coupon code, if you want to use a coupon code. Now, have you ever played with coupon codes?
No.
Well, if you do the coupon code thing, then I have to warn you that there is a very specific coupon field you have to add to the screen. So if you're going to do anything with a coupon, then you want to go test the coupon thing first to make sure you have the right thing set up. But coupons it's a table, because you could have more than one coupon on a transaction, right? So if we put a coupon number in, you scan one into there, and then you down arrow and scan another one in, and down arrow again and scan a third one if you need to.
Yeah.
So, but that's how the coupon thing works. So if you assign a coupon number, you can make it be whatever you want. And I could show you how to print those out in barcodes too, by the way. That's not a big deal either.
Yeah.
You can print any field in RPro in a barcode if you have to. In the Doc Designer, there's a schema editor, and you have to find the field in there and turn on barcode printing for that field. And then exit the Doc Designer and come back in, and it'll be in your barcodes. So, so anyway, start and end date's pretty straightforward. That's setting up a promo here in V9. They all pretty much set up the same way. I have never figured out pricing so much. Promos is a lot more powerful than pricing. Pricing just lets you have an alternate price, where promos lets you take any of the discounts. You can do it by discount, by amount, or by price. So I could say take 20% off, or take $5 off, or sell it for that price. And so the pricing piece just seems to only have that pricing. So, so that's a bit odd.
Yeah. All right, we'll see. All right, I'm back. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No problem.
5 o'clock over here. I don't know if you're on the West Coast or not. We're on the East Coast.
I am solidly West Coast, Sacramento area. So we are sitting at 2 o'clock, and it's probably about time for you to turn into a pumpkin. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. You're with Big Hairy Dog. Okay, I wasn't.
Correct.
Yep.
Yes, we are here in the tech room next to the putting green.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool.
All right. So, and I think we all get buy one get one. That's pretty straightforward, right?
Yeah.
The same filter criteria. They work really well. I mean, but it's the exact same thing as the one we set up. You know, what do you have to buy, and what do you get, and how much do you get off it? Is it a percentage, or it's almost exactly the same as the promotions one. So that's pretty much it for V9.
There are start and end dates in the quantity price.
What's that?
In quantity pricing or quantity discount, there's a start date and an end date there as well.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
I didn't set any of those because I didn't have any of those, but yeah, we can do that.
Yep. Absolutely. All the tricky thing with the BOGO is highest prices optimized. Lowest prices is weird, by the way.
Yeah.
You want to probably take it off either optimized or highest prices.
Yeah.
So anyway, back on V8. V8, like I said, is a little bit. It's a bit of a different animal. It was done a lot earlier, I think, and some of this stuff here is a little more wide open in as far as the scheduling or the filtering. This seems to be like a wide open, just take a percentage off of everything they buy, or first use percentage. But it doesn't have the ability to filter that I can see. Maybe if we add, if we add purchase, no, we get same thing. At Global, we get the same thing. So, oh, purchase total. That is cool, though. I forgot about that. Because you don't really have that in V9. You can't say you have to purchase $200 to get a discount.
Right.
There is no threshold in V9. There is here in V8. So they seem to have left a lot out of V8 and they had it into V9, but then they forgot to put some stuff in they had. By the way, the next version of this, which is in what would be considered version 10, is called Prism, and the promotions module is extremely robust in Prism.
Yeah.
So it's got everything in it. I've already seen it and I've seen it work, and it is it's pretty good actually. It's pretty nice. Sorry about that. We have all kinds of stuff going on all the time here at the Big Hairy Dog. So the coupons thing in version 8, of course, the same thing applies here. You have to pick what the items are and what the ID for the coupon is and the start and end dates and what kind of discount it is, whether it's dollars or percentages, how much, and the stores. And again, you have to, now in version 8, there's no coupon table like in version 9. It's the tracking number field, so that if anyone out there is trying to set up a promotion in version 8, you just may have to make sure that you add the tracking number field. So it would be the field that would be used to track like a UPS tracking number, literally. It should be down here in the T's. Tracking number, boom. So that's the field that it uses. Of course, you'd want to get rid of the word tracking number and then add in a coupon, label, which can all be done easily, through the screen designer here. So, so that's an important thing to know if you're setting up the V9 one. It looks like Erica has, in fact, checked out. So, but there's a recording, and she'll be able to watch it later if she needs to. And anything else in the V8 one that we should go over real quick? If I want to get one, go ahead.
I'm curious, in version 9, we did try, and I was just on with Tanya out there.
Oh, really?
We did try to disable the automatic processing of promos, and it didn't change anything. It still, the pop-up still came up that it was looking for promos. We were hoping to speed it up a little bit, especially on those larger orders. We regularly do orders that are 150 items, 200 items.
Wow.
And
that's a big
really
order.
Slow. Yeah, it gets really slow when you're scanning every item and you get up to generally.
Well, the speed issues
starts to get
they've been a problem. The speed issues have been a problem for a long time, and they've done amazing. They really come a long way with that speed issues. I mean, they were ridiculously painful in the beginning, and now they're pretty. Actually, it's pretty fast for the most part, but there are a few areas where it's still lingering a bit, and they're still making good progress on that. But yeah, I totally get it. Yeah. It might not be. It might still be too slow for some of those. Like 100 items that's a big order.
Should it? If you turn it off here, and I don't remember how you had your preferences set here, but if you turn it off and then scan items, will they still look? All right, so you have it all.
Let's go find out. So let's it's all off there. Now, of course, to find that out, we have to then get the heck out of here, right? We have to back out of here and reload this because we changed the plan. And so now we would have to relaunch Retail Pro. I'm relaunching the promotions module. Let's launch Retail Pro and see if it makes any difference. Okay, so right, there should be a promo on that same department. So let's go and say this here. Okay, so that's not discount, correct?
Right, and it doesn't look like it. I didn't notice it on the screen. It didn't come up, but it was looking.
No, it was pretty fast, I thought. So
yeah.
Again, pretty normal. Now if I say tender, right, it applied the promos, and of course now it's going to go to the tender screen because I have a tender screen. But
Right.
you know, so I think that was. Then now, what if I bring up another one? So we go like this, and so all those are in the same department. They're all the same item except just different sizes. So we click the tender button again, and now it goes ahead and discounts all those. Of course, it redid the top two, but yeah, I would say it definitely was a lot faster. Now, the machine that we're looking at here, this machine is a virtual machine, and it's only got 6 gigs of RAM. So this machine is not real life. It's not as robust as a server or even a decent workstation.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Tomorrow night we're moving our server from a simple workstation to an actual virtual server that's got plenty of power. So we're hoping that helps a little bit. But I think we should turn the promos off and then apply them at the end, because especially understanding that it is scanning the entire items list every time it scans an item, because it's got to reevaluate what applies and what doesn't based on quantities and what. So turning it off would definitely speed things up. So I will try that again tomorrow, and
yeah, because I mean the promotions module is very slick. It's very powerful. It's in its core functionality that other retailers have had for years that the Retail Pro did not have, and it's kind of about time that we had it. And so I think everybody should use the promotions module for some of these things that it does, but you know, it falls through the cracks a lot. You know, I had a big chain that was not using it. They ended up buying another chain that was using it, and then they said, hey, that's cool, we should use that. And all of a sudden they were using it.
Yeah.
It just took somebody pushing them over the hump to get to that point where they felt comfortable using it.
Yep. Yeah, it took us a while to get some things set up, and I still have to go back in and add some things.
Well, it's definitely a step-by-step process. It's definitely something that you don't, you know, it doesn't happen overnight. And with those things, you want to be careful. You really do have to take your time and set it up correctly, because it will. If you get a bad one out there, you could lose a lot of money.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. So I think that about wraps up all the things I really need to go over as far as the list is. Is there any other questions or anything else that? Yeah, they got test in here. Now, are you multiple stores?
No, we just have one location.
Gotcha. Right. So I should mention, just as a normal course of action, that if you had one of these and you were moving it, if you were trying to move it to the store on V9, you would use a move list. A move list is a standard polling function that you would get in ECM.
Yeah.
Which I know you probably don't care about. You're only one store, but a move list is a very, very powerful tool. You can move anything from one location to another location. You don't have 2 installations though, right?
No, just one server installation and several clients, 4 or 5 clients.
Right. So you can add folders or files to the list here. and then you click generate move list, and it sends it to that location in whatever target path you tell it to write it to. It's a really cool function, and of course this whole thing here, and this is also maybe good information for you, is that even though you're not moving the database, right, you're not having to send it to a remote store. It might be a really good idea to make sure it gets backed up.
Yeah, we'll make a backup, and then we've already installed it on the virtual server. We just need to make a backup and change the licenses and restore.
Well, what I mean is that's the MDB right there. That's the database. So if I was going to apply these promos to a remote store, I would need to send the R:, or C:, in my case, /retailpro9 /rpro prom, that rproprom.mdb down to the store and overwrite their database. But I also might just go in here and say, look, dude, this thing's really great, and I'm gonna try and make a really complicated one, and it might blow up on me. And if it does, I want to have this thing saved off somewhere else.
All right.
And then I could just overwrite the thing and put it back the way it was before I started hacking it up, right?
Right. Yep. Yeah. Cool.
So I would recommend, if you're doing anything sketchy at all, basically go know where that database file is and go get it and move it to wherever you need to. And in version 8, if you were doing the same thing in version 8, there is a similar functionality, but it's actually down here in the file structure down there. Yeah, there's your data files for. You could back these up, and you could go hack things up and put them back if you needed to. But with V8, you don't need to use the move list. There is a move list in V8, but it's like super painful. So I wouldn't recommend anybody ever do that. You just use a send a remote.
Hey, can I put you on hold for a second? Somebody from your office is calling.
No, not a problem at all. So excellent.
Oh, well, I think I missed him.
That's fair enough. Not a problem. So
I wouldn't have bothered, except it was coming from the guy behind you, probably.
there is nobody behind me. That's the conference room. I'm behind. Tanya sits in front of me, though, so you know.
Oh yeah. I don't know who was. I mean, it's after hours, so I don't know who would have been trying to call.
Probably service or someone in our service department.
Yeah.
It could be those guys. It could be.
Maybe to confirm. I see they left a message now. Confirm our appointment for tomorrow, maybe. Yep.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Yeah.
Unrelated to promos, but I want to add the customer's phone number to the receipt form. We use letter page size receipts.
Oh, you mean like the screen or the printout?
To the printout. Is there a way to format it? I can put it on there, but it's just a string of 10 numbers without any formatting. Is there a way to make it format to an area code prefix dash, 4 digits?
No. I mean, you could you might be able to format it in the back end and change them all to have dashes.
Right.
That'd be a tricky statement, though.
Yeah, and we're connecting. We're linking with Sage, so we're importing all of our transactions and customers' items into Sage.
Nice.
And it's been working. At the Retail Pro doesn't. I have not been able to find a way to format a phone number like that so that it looks like a phone number and not just a string of 10 digits.
I mean, I don't know. I could try something here. We could try something and see if it works. But you'd have to change the format to be, in the right format. You know what I mean? You'd have to actually have it so that it was coming out of Retail Pro that way. So you're saying your phone numbers right now are in here like that. They're just in there.
They don't even have dashes in them.
Right, they're just in there like that.
For you to get those numbers, you have to put the dashes in, right?
Right, you have to type them in with dashes, right? Because the way Retail Pro put it in there is that, you know, you could actually go in here and say, you know, like if you wanted to say little tags on there like that, you could do that. It's totally, it's not formatting. It's letting you do whatever you want to do. No, it doesn't care. Correct. And I don't know. We're into dicey waters, but we could take a look and see.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'll put it back on. At least we'll have the number there. It just looks odd that it's not a formatted phone number.
Yes. And you could, I mean, you could have a customization written for that probably, you know, because a programmer could do more than I could do. So they could say, well, if it has dashes, don't format it further. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
But I don't know that I really have that option much.
I know, and I'm not an expert on Crystal reports, but I know you can format like that in Crystal.
Yeah, I've played around in Crystal a bit, and customer. It seems like that really the phone numbers. Seems like phone 1 and phone 2 would be. Oh, wait a second. I bet it's not in here. I bet it's in the address fields, isn't it? Yeah, I bet it is. Hold on a second. The address, customer addresses. I bet the phone 1 and phone 2 are right here, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's in there however you put it in, but. And that's going to change it in the SQL database. Which I think then will cause problems with Sage because it's going to try and import it the same way that it's in there. And if it's anything less than a string of numbers, then Sage tries to format it.
Right. So that's, you know, fixing this may be a bigger problem than, you know.
Yeah. Unless it can be done unless it can be done at the level of the form on the form.
I mean, that's a statement that we use in Crystal to like parse a field, this mid statement. And I don't know if it works here or not. I have no idea. I mean, this may totally work, and it may totally just blow up in my face here, you know, in a second. So, you know, I don't really know, to be honest. Nice.
You've only got a dozen fields there to.
Mid phone 1. Of course, starting on then comma 7, comma 4 would be the last ones. Yeah, invalid. Doesn't like that statement in an SQL update statement. So
yeah,
really
that's all right.
Play with that.
Yeah, I think we really can't change it in the data because then it's going to affect the way it sends it over to Sage.
Right, but I mean, if you wanted to, we could price out a customization that that would do that for you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
All right. Yeah. All right.
We could have it like you could have it where it had different input field and formatted it and dropped it in there, but you know, put it in exactly the way we could have it display one way and be stored another way. You know what I mean?
All right. Okay.
I mean, you just have to write it up and submit it to the programmer, and he has to give you back what's called a statement of work. Then you got to carefully go through that and make sure that he understood what you asked for. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Because many times they don't, and little tiny subtleties of that kind of communicating. That's the hardest thing we do.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, we can do it though. I mean, that's really. I know that but that formatting. He has another customization unrelated to what you're talking about that has to do with customers. Though I'm pretty sure that does format the phone number. It's like a side benefit of another program that he does, something to do with loyalty or something.
Right.
And so, I mean, he's already done something similar to what you're talking about doing, and so I'm sure Malcolm could do that if that was something you wanted to tackle. You just have to, like I said, let us know. We'll write it up, send it to him. He writes it up, sends it back to us. We sit down and go over it. If you like it, you sign off on it and cut a check, and he does the thing, and we drop it in.
All right. All right. So, we'll hang on to that for now. That might be something we're interested in then, but
yeah, fair enough. I mean,
we've been on Retail Pro for about 2 weeks now, so we're still learning how to use some of it. Yeah.
Well, you're doing really well. If you're on it for 2 weeks and you're already using promotions, I'd say you're doing quite well.
We've had some time. We've been working on it since November, but
it's not that bad.
Yeah.
I've had clients that took a year and a half to get up. So, November it takes a few months to get your data straightened out and get everything organized and get the hardware installed and get the training done. So, yeah, November to now is a pretty normal window, considering you're up and live and you're using it pretty full functionally. So I'd say you did well.
Yeah. Yeah, we're happy with it.
All right, sir. Well, I guess that's about it. I don't think I have much more on promotions, so I think I'm going to wrap up unless you have any other questions.
All right. No, I think that's good. I appreciate your time. It's definitely helpful.
Not a problem. So we like it when you guys join, and we like it when everybody participates. We had 2 really good people participating today, so I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Yep. All right. Thank you. You take care now.
Okay. Bye-bye.